Okay, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is the Play Hard, Pray Hard YouTube channel and podcast.
Oh, let's have a second. And because Ilya's humble, he decided not to say that it's Parsha at the barber, the railroad barber.
Yeah.
It's actually Erev Rosh Hashana. And we always say, I'm Yossi Loyan, and I make videos about Torah and Jewish life.
And I'm just the guy that helps them through it.
Yeah. Tell anybody who might be new who you are after you check your phone.
So I'm Ellie, the barber at Crown Heights on Troy Avenue. If you need a haircut, you need to get your ASAP. Tomorrow night is the holiday, so you should have gotten it out of the way already.
Yeah, it's Erev Rosh Hashana, and it's second to last Parsha. This Shabbos is going to be Parshas Haazinu. Some very interesting stuff. Check out last year's video. Some really interesting stuff you'll hear over there. And today we're going to talk about a few things. First of all, situation in Eretz Yisrael. Some major miracles happening. We'll get to that in a second. A funny clip about Ben Shapiro that mentions a pasuk in this week's Parsha.
Shapiro talks about religion, really?
Well, you'll see what happens, how it's connected. It's very funny, actually. And I also want to share a video of a rabbi. His name is Rabbi Levy Djian. He has a YouTube channel actually called Torah on Demand. I do some of the work for him for the channel, and there's an amazing clip regarding the entire Elul, Rosh Hashana, and Kippur, and Sukkot. A little clip from an amazing video that's going to go up. It'll be up by tomorrow, God willing. So by the time you're watching this, most probably, unless you're watching it live or the night of, it's probably going to be up. Incredible stuff just to understand what's really happening over here. I'm going to play a clip from that video. It's not up yet, so you get a preview before it goes up. Well, live. It's going to be before it goes up. And I also want to mention an Israel update. Like we said, someone who, and there's an account who does daily updates of what goes on in Eretz Yisrael. It's a woman from Eretz Yisrael. I actually met the family. Beautiful people. Her name is Bruria Efune, and she does a daily update. So you know exactly what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. I'm gonna, after the show tonight, God willing, I'm gonna link the Instagram where she posts the updates. And of course, everything we say here is going to be in the merit of the hostages that should come home, the continued protection of Am Yisrael, and Mashiach now, peace for the entire world, the eradication of evil. And let's go and summarize the parsha real quickly. First, like always, we have to make sure that we're not.
I actually wanted to add, as of right now, as we all know, Israel is at war, and the government doesn't have. Are we live?
Yeah.
The government can't help a lot of poor people and a lot of people who are learning and studying and have families. So anybody that can, please donate to the poor, support the poor, especially when it comes to these holidays. A lot of people can't afford a warm meal. So anybody that can, please, if you can, support the poor people, donate as much as you can. Our brothers and sisters need help right now. This is the time. This is the crunch time.
Okay, thank you, Ilya. And everything that he said. So let's just do a quick summary of the parsha. It's actually a shorter parsha, but there's a lot of goodness packed into it. So the name of the parsha is Haazinu, which means listen. The greater part of this parsha is a 70-line song, so to speak, which is delivered by Moshe to the Jewish people on his last day that he was, on this of his earthly life, calling heaven and earth as witnesses. Moshe tells the people, remember the days of old. And it says poetic words: consider the years of many generations, ask your father and he will recount it to you, your elders and they will tell you how Hashem found them in a desert land, made them a people, chose them as his own, gave them a beautiful land. And it also talks about how if people get too comfortable, then they can rebel. And that's unfortunately we've seen that. We have to make sure that we stay on the straight and narrow. Talks about all the terrible things that will happen, but in the end, Hashem promises that He will avenge the blood of His servants, and He will be reconciled with His people and His land. Parasha concludes with Hashem's instructions to Moshe to go on Har Nevoy. We're going to talk about that actually. Some interesting things about Moshe's
It's interesting
burial.
you said that because it was already prophesied and it has happened that Hashem said that you will eventually sin and I will eventually scatter you. But don't worry because I will gather you in and I will get rid of, I will destroy all your enemies. And for anybody that had any doubts, it's our land. Hashem is doing exactly what He promised. He scattered us and now He's bringing us together. So anybody that has claims that He forgot about us, He chose new people, or He will in the future, snap out of it. We all know it's not true. The prophecy is happening.
You have to wake up and smell the coffee, man.
Exactly.
Okay, so and then right when Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to the mountain where he's going to pass away, that's where he sees Eretz Yisrael, because Hashem said, right, he can see it but he can't go, and that's the end of the parsha. So I just want to talk about some interesting things. At the end of the parsha, it talks about, like we just said, Hashem says, "Alei al har ha'avarim." Before we do that, I just want to show. I was mentioning the update before. So what happened today in Eretz Yisrael? Right here, I'm showing on the screen. It says casualties from the Iranian attack. Right today, Iran sent 180 ballistic missiles into a country smaller than New Jersey, and there were 2 lightly injured Israelis. One Arab from Gaza who was killed in Yericho. So I guess he somehow made it out of Gaza into Yericho. And we're actually going to talk about Yericho in the parsha, which is like, I was talking to my number one fan, and I was talking to my wife, and she was mentioning this update, and I'm reading inside about Yericho, and she was like, "Oh, this guy died in Yericho." I'm like, "Oh, interesting." Parsha talks about Yericho. I mean, whatever. It's a tiny connection, but so I'm like, "Oh, okay, send me that update over." This is from the lady that I mentioned earlier.
What I'm surprised about?
Huh?
The United States is talking up a storm about our allies in the East and this and this and that. Countries like Iran are attacking and they're doing nothing.
I don't know.
They're doing nothing.
The whole world is.
What kind of allies are those? Seriously, doing nothing.
Well, I say today I was on X and like
terrorism is not just Israel's problem in the world. It's the world's problem.
Well,
why is
the world doesn't want to believe that
the world's problems?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think everybody sees it that way. And by the way, I just want to mention, guys, we don't have the wide shot because last second something went wrong with some of the connections, so we don't have the wide shot. Apologies, but I just want to continue the. It's a good point, Ilya. I don't know. 5 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps killed during a failed launch. So more people died in Iran from their launch than did in Israel. And in Israel, they didn't manage to kill any Jews. 12 IRGC wounded during the failed launch. So, guys, you could see, and again, this is a shortened version of the update. Normally, the update is longer, but because of Rosh Hashana, the lady who does these updates only gave a short version. But I just want to say, like, how crazy is that? I mean, the miracles. At this point, I feel like we're so used to miracles that we don't even realize how great the miracles are. Like, we're kind of like, yeah, God did it again. So, yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
The end is coming, man. Mashiach is coming.
Yeah, Mashiach. God willing, is coming.
Are you going to share the news about Aliyah?
Who's Aliyah? I don't know. One day at a time.
It's your news. That's why I have to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Hashem meant when He was going to, collect us all back into the same land.
Yeah. When are you doing it?
When my son turns 18.
Oh, nice. Okay, nice.
I got another 11 years to go. I can't leave my son.
Yeah, I hear that. Okay, we're getting sidetracked a little bit. So we're talking about the one of the last things in the pasuk. It tells that Hashem tells Moshe, "Ale al har ha'avarim, go on this mountain of Avarim." You could say mountain of passage, right? Har Nevo. So what's interesting is here you see that the official name of the mountain is Har Nevo, yet there's another name being called Har Ha'avarim, which is in the land of Moab, which is by the Jordan, opposite Yericho. And you could see Eretz Yisrael from here, he says, right? We just mentioned this. And so the Zohar says something very interesting. Why is it called Har Ha'avarim? Because it's called that because there is a path in tunnels open from the ground, from this me'ara, from this cave, to the cave of Aaron, to Aaron's burial, and to Miriam's. So Hashem basically opened paths from either side so that they would be open they would be connected. And Rabbeinu Bachaya brings this in our parsha, and in Sifri it says that there was also a tunnel that went from the burial of Moshe Rabbeinu to Ma'aras Machpelah, to the burial of the Aves in Hebron. And we actually covered this in a previous parsha. I think it was last year actually, that there are people who hold that there's a minhag that people go to the Ma'aras Machpelah on Zayin Adar, which is both the birthday and the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu.
It also says in the parsha that don't worry, you will lay with your forefathers.
Right, yeah.
But then again, we don't know where he's laying. So
yeah, so
it's very possible that what you just said, that he made the connections, and we really don't know where the connections are and where he's really buried.
Well, I mean, also no one can go into Ma'aras Machpelah. There's a story of someone who went in, and we mentioned this story in one of the parshas, and many people went and died, and eventually a rabbi went in and he
get the sword and this and that.
Yes, I think, and then he ended up passing away, but only after 7 days. Yeah, crazy story. So I just wanted to mention that, which was very, very interesting. Now, Yosifun, who was a historian in the time of the Romans, Josephus, we know that a lot of his history was censored because, of course, the Romans wouldn't allow him to say things that made them look bad. But he says that he mentions in history how they came to a place called Yericho, and he mentioned in his writings that they had come to a place called Yericho, the city of smell, Ir Hareach.
Okay.
And he says, why is it called that? One of the reasons is because over there they had the Eitz Afarsaman, the persimmon tree, where they got the persimmon oil. And it was it's known to be a very strong oil which can take away bad odors. Okay. And kings came from far to get it, and people tried to take from the tree and plant it in their lands, and it didn't work. Okay. And it was there in Yericho until the time of the destruction of the second Beis Hamikdash.
What does it look like? Yisrael?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about this. I looked it up right before I came here because this week was so crazy that I had very little time to prepare. Like 2 hours before I did this, I prepared all this. Like it was a very, very packed week. But yeah, I'm not sure. And once the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, then people moved it. They took it to Mitzrayim and to other places, and which are there he writes this is all the way back in the time of the Romans. So he was saying it's there until today, and there's still some in Yericho. I think today in Ein Gedi there are some, but I'm not sure. Wasn't able to do a bunch of research. Anyway, so he says the reason why it was called Ir Hareach, it sounds like Yericho also, is because of the special smelling persimmon that was there. And he actually brings another interesting reason, and he calls it Ir HaYoreach. Why is it called the town of the moon? Reach, but then Yareach also sounds like Yericho. And he says, why? Because over there is the first place where you could see the moon before anywhere else in Israel. And before they had a calendar, how would they do it? How would they establish the new month and the Chagim, the festivals and everything? How do they do it? They would do it by having two witnesses who saw the moon. And so people, and he says that people who would come from Yericho to give their testimony, their testimony would stand. But other people who come from other places wouldn't always stand. So the reason why it's called Yericho is because that was the first place that you could see the moon before anywhere else in Israel. Wow. Yeah. Now, just something very interesting also about Yericho, and its connection to smell. It says that the Ketoret from Yerushalayim, you could smell it in Yericho. It says that goats in Yericho would sneeze because of the smell.
No way.
Yeah. And listen to this. And it says that women who over there would not need to put on any type of perfume because of the strength of the smell. And in Yerushalayim itself, women on their wedding day wouldn't have to make themselves beautiful. So I guess somehow it also, gave them a certain glow. I'm not sure what this Gemara means, but it's very, very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So and the connection between Yericho and Yerushalayim is also mentioned in the Gemara in Yuma when it talks about the Kohen Gadol when he would say Hashem's name. They would hear it all the way in Yericho. But the Ravid says in the name of his Rebbe that it's only in Yericho. So it seems to be a special connection between specifically Yericho and Yerushalayim. And he mentions, why were you able to hear the sound from the Kohen Gadol? Because since Yerushalayim has a level of the holiness of Yerushalayim, why? Because it's the first place that was captured by the Jewish people as Yerushalayim. So the first place, the initiation of Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, started in Yericho, and that's why it has a special kedusha, and so that the Jewish people should know that you were able to hear the Kohen Gadol. So I thought that was very interesting. Now I just wanted to share two more things. So we mentioned we're going to share something funny about Ben Shapiro. This was on the Michael Knowles show, where they're basically the show was famous dead people. Who knows more famous dead people? Sayings from these dead people. It happens to be here that I wouldn't call Moshe a dead person, but the point is that here you'll see for yourself. It's a very, very funny video.
What, let my people go?
No, you'll see. It's from this week's Parsha.
Let my teaching fall like rain and my words descend like dew. Ben is just rearing to hold up the whiteboard, so we're going to go to him. He looks very confident.
I'm going to go with my boy Moses.
All right, Michael.
From Deuteronomy.
Oh, darn. I wanted it to be more mystical, so I suggested Confucius.
Mr. Shapiro gets the points on this one.
Devastating.
That's my book, Michael. Yeah, you're in my backyard with that one.
That's brutal. You know, I'm doing Bible in a year.
I can almost cite that one in the original Hebrew. I can almost cite that one in the original Hebrew.
I always start Bible in a year, and I've read Genesis about 1,000 times, but I'm not yet up again to Deuteronomy. I'm still on Exodus.
So he said this thing. Let my sayings fall like rain. Here, I'm gonna bring it actually on the screen right now. But wasn't that a funny? I found it to be so funny where basically they quote the Bible, and obviously Ben Shapiro, right when he starts saying it, he started writing before he even finished it. So I just
my boy Moses.
Yeah, my boy Moses.
Back to the roots. Is it nah?
So actually, what's funny is I thought it was very cool. I'm right here. It says, "Let my," I'm showing it on the screen, and pasuk bet on the screen. It says, "Let my teaching drip like rain, my speech flow like dew." That's the words that he said. Yarav kamatra likhi tizal katal imrasi. What's funny is I actually took this screenshot. I didn't take it today. I took it on Sunday. I was walking in the rain. It was like raining on Sunday lightly, and I'm saying the chitas, the portion of the chitas, and I'm literally saying those words as it's raining, and I'm looking at this phone, and I took the picture because I wanted to post it on my story on Instagram. Like, how amazing is it to be walking in the rain and learning this at the same time? But anyway, so it was you know.
You see, it's a huge miracle when you could incorporate what you're learning or what you're doing with what's happening in real life.
It's an incredible feeling.
Yeah,
it's the
like,
best feeling.
Whoa, what just happened? It's like Hashem is following me. He's trying to prove it. And that important for him to try to prove something to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? In Pirkei Avos it says that God loves the Jewish people because of this. God loves, and it says it's an extra love that he showed by letting them know. So when God, so to speak, goes out of his way, there's no such thing. But when he goes and lets you know, hey, I'm here, that's an extra demonstration of love.
Because when I started on my journey, when I started becoming observant, as I was learning things, they were just jumping in my face. Is it a coincidence that I learned about, in one of the Gemaras I was learning that every Jew should have in the back of his mind that the whole world was created for him specifically.
Mm.
In moments before that, I was learning about free will. Now, hold on. If the whole world was made just for you specifically, then the only will that matters is yours. Correct?
That's
correct.
Okay, fine.
But the reality is that's how it is. Based on your decisions, based on your actions, every second the world is changing. And as the world is changing, because the world is changing, it's not because the boys, what do they believe? That God created the world, he just left it be and let it run on auto, what's his name?
Autopilot, yeah.
It's not like that. The world is being recreated every second.
Hashgacha pratis. Yeah.
Based on the decisions we make.
Yeah, but also that, I want to say something about that. The idea that the world was created for me, there was a, one sec. We are taking a commercial break. There's a story of a person, I forgot what the context was, but basically there was a very big rabbi who said, in one pocket you should carry, a paper that says, B'shvili nivra olam, the world is created for me, and the other one you should carry, Anochi afar v'efer, I am dust and ashes. So you have to balance those two. What does it mean the world is created for me? Or people say B'shvili, in my path, that we have a mission here. And God set everything up so that we can fulfill our mission, around that. So, it's not so much of like,
But at the same time,
I'm the boss.
Don't let your ego get the best of you.
Right.
At the same time, don't forget your mission.
Yeah, 100%. So that when you have those two things balancing you, then you're on the straight and narrow.
That's why I said you can't learn one without the other. It needs more information. You can't just concentrate on one thing. Like in Buddhism, they concentrate on what? Be one with nature and be at peace and enjoy life. The whole point of life is to be happy and always do exciting things that make you happy. Okay, what did you just describe? A person that is completely useless, but he's happy. But what is he doing in his life? He does what makes him happy, but he's not changing anything. He's not making anything better.
Yeah, the pursuit of happiness on its own is not much of a virtue.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say, that you can't just concentrate on one part and that's it. You have to learn. You have to keep on learning to broaden your horizons and your points of view and your perspective on life.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we're here to do the work. There's one more thing.
Israel has been doing work for almost a year now.
Well, we shouldn't have been doing that much work. We should have ended it in the beginning.
We only have Europe and a lot of bureaucrats to blame for that.
That's it. You know, the personal account. Anyway, it'll be good. Mashiach is coming.
Yes.
Such a crazy time.
Current administration out of office.
No. It says Al Tiftachu V'Nedivim. Of course, you know, we have to take the path that naturally we have to find the right path that we think is going to be better. But at the end of the day, it's all God. It's all God.
Yeah.
It's all God. Anyway, we're right before Rosh Hashana. I didn't really feel that I had something to offer, but I've been so busy. Today I was actually editing this video that's going to go up to either hopefully tonight, for sure by tomorrow. And I just took a little excerpt from it because it's really, really interesting. Ilya, you know when it talks about the fast Torah when you go to war, and there's a woman that is beautiful, and the whole process that you need to. So there, it's talking about the Yetzer Hara, right? It's talking about the fact that a person can't contain himself, in battle, and he's far away from home, and so the Torah allowed him to take this woman, but through a process. But the Arizal, and this is what I brings, he connects this to Elul Tishrei, Rosh Hashana, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, and it's a beautiful connection. I'm going to play it right now because I want the guys to see this.
Before you go on, I just wanted to add about that. The people that went into war were not regular people. They were mainly big Torah scholars.
Well, yeah,
Not
because
only were they Torah scholars, they were really people of no sin. The reason why I say that is because if you had any sin or you had any doubt in your mind that Hashem was angry at you for whatever reason, chances are you're not coming back.
they announced he was soft of heart, and Rashi says, why would he be soft of heart? Because of sin.
Right. So therefore, these people were big Hakamim, and they were big souls. So the reality is they didn't just go there and give in to lust. They did what they did, or they saw a woman that was, that went through the whole process because they saw sparks in them that they knew needed to be redeemed. Just like Zimri and Cosby, the whole thing. We think that, oh my God, how could somebody at this stature do something like that? But
I always wonder about that thing, because at the end of the day, of course, everything, like even after someone makes the wrong choice, there's something good that will come out of it, because the way God created the world is that but I don't know how conscious that choice is.
So it's not about consciousness, it's about the fact that the evil inclination is very powerful. And the only thing that evil inclination could do in this world, it physically can't hurt you. So what does it do? It creates all types of illusions and delusions in order for you to make the wrong choice. So this is what happened in the case of Zimri and Cosby. This is what happened in the case where Chacham came into war and he saw a spark in that woman that he thinks he could get it out, which is Shlomo Melech had 1,000 wives because of that.
Yeah, we mentioned this.
That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
So these Chachamim were trying to do exactly the same thing. But the problem is, evil inclination fooled them, which is why they did what they did.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Also, not necessarily, I mean, this doesn't have to have been a common thing that happened. Torah is saying that in this case, this is what you can do.
Right.
But anyway, that's, what we're about to play now is a totally different, on a deeper and spiritual level. It's actually one of the most beautiful things. Listen to this.
Okay.
Says the Arizal, war is our fight with the Yetzer Hara. It's our challenges of life. And you fight your life challenges, and suddenly you find that in the challenges, there is a beautiful woman in captivity. It's your soul. Your soul is pure, but it's captive by the Yetzer Hara. You desire it. When a person is stuck in the mundane and he's in the rat race of life, a non-ending race, but suddenly goes to a shiur, goes to a minyan, starts to learn something, to study something, starts to do more mitzvahs, feels that When a person feels that I want to tap into my spirituality, to my relationship with Hashem, you know what happens? Suddenly it's like, oh my God, she's beautiful, this woman. My soul is pure. I want more. So he said, bring her home. And he says, let the soul cry for father and mother for a month. Says Arizal, this is the month of Elul, when we cry and do teshuvah and realize that we want and need to get closer to God. Afterwards, Tishrei time, Tavo Elea, you can come to her, this is Rosh Hashana, you come face to face to the king. Ube'alta, and you have Be'ila, which means sleep with her, this is Yom Kippur. Ne'ila is you seal, you close the door, and there's no one is allowed to be in the room. It's only us with Hashem. That's why it says, Yom Kippurim is the day of our wedding day with Hashem. Yom Chatunato is Yom Kippurim. What happens after a couple gets married? Sheva brachos, 7 days of Sukkah.
How crazy is that? It takes a whole different, right? This thing which sounds like, full of temptation and desire, and this thing which is not really so good. And all of a sudden you see how this can be interpreted into the spiritual days from the beginning of Elul all the way to the end of Tishrei. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Guys, I really go and check out Torah on Demand on YouTube. I will be posting a link before Rosh Hashana, by Erev Hashanah in the morning, God willing. Yeah, check it out. I mean, this is just a tiny excerpt of just such goodness. I mean,
wow, that kind of blew my mind. I'm kind of speechless.
Crazy, right?
Bro, all the things I wanted to say just flew out of my mind.
That's when you know some good stuff, huh? Okay, guys, we want to wish you. I'm gonna come to Ilya's side because we don't have the wide shot, so we're gonna.
Okay.
There
he is.
You know what? I think it's better if I come on this side. Okay.
Stay away from Diddy's parties.
Dude, we're wishing them a happy new year and like. Okay, guys.
Man. That's what's going on right now.
We would love to wish you a beautiful, happy new year. We should have revealed good. What we had last year should be forgotten because of all the good we're going to have this year. And we should have all our family back with us. And Mashiach now, guys. Good Yom Tov and good Shabbos.
Yes, Mashiach now, good Shabbos. But today's Tuesday, bro. Good Shabbos.
Good Yom Tov and good Shabbos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow night.
You redeemed yourself.
Tomorrow night is Rosh Hashana.
Yeah, I know. Or what?
Bye, guys.
Okay, that's the first time I've ever heard anybody say that.